You are listening to episode 22 of The Bastards of Kingsgrave. This is Amin.
This is Ashley.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Bastards of Kingsgrave. Today we'll be reviewing the anime WataMote in quite some detail. So Ashley, tell us why this anime was particularly special to you or like hit a chord with you.
Well, basically, it was looking at a mirror of my grade 9 experience, and it's her grade 9 experience. And this girl has crippling social anxiety and has zero friends and cannot make any friends and is very bitter about this fact. She makes failed attempts and just becomes even more bitter. And that's kind of what I went through. So, yeah, it was kind of cathartic in watching it, and I mean, my grade 9 year was a very long time ago, so I am obviously in a very different place in my life, but going back and watching it, yes, I was laughing, but I was also crying at the same time, being like, oh my god, I really was pretty pathetic. But it's dark comedy, but you gotta not, I don't know. I can laugh at it because I can laugh at myself, but I think if I was still in grade 9, then I wouldn't like it so much.
Some of the situations you found that were completely matched you, and others were exaggerations, but you faced that, and a lot of people probably, no matter how popular they were, like might have experienced at least one of the situations in their lives before, right?
Yes, and even like some of the situations that seem exaggerated were still very similar to what I went through. Like there are obviously things that are very much extremely exaggerated, but I mean there are things that seem ridiculous, but I watch them just like I lived through that, and it's not as exaggerated as you might think it is.
Was it one of them ordering something?
Oh yeah, there's when she going to order at a Starbucks. That's it. I had problems with that. I had problems ordering fast food for the longest time. Going up there without someone there beside me who's ordering something as well, and then I could just imitate them. If I was on my own, that was just not cool. that was an issue. I can't remember if this was in the show, but in the manga, there's a scene where some guys are outside of class and they bug her, and they like tap her on the shoulder. Hey, can you get so and so to come and talk to us? And the sheer panic she went through, just being like, okay, I think that's that guy, but I have to go up to him and tell him his friends are looking for him. Like, just the panic of that situation is something that I would have gone through. I would have been like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? I can't talk to somebody I don't know. Oh my god, I gotta go run, but I can't run because these guys are looking at me and I'll be weird if I don't, and oh my god, what am I gonna do? And that's what I was like back then.
The way especially the manga, like it's kind of set of just like you said, like a dark comedy, but I think that like the artist and mangaka must have like at least experienced some of these things to be able to draw upon them rather than just like, I don't think they could have just made them up, right?
Oh yeah, it's the best, most accurate depiction of someone with social anxiety that I've ever seen. There's so many shows that have like these moe characters that are just, oh, I'm so shy and quiet and adorable, and I'm just like, fuck you. That's just not a shy and quiet person. You have no issues. This is a person who actually has issues.
Yeah, and like even the title, there was some interest over the title. It says like it's some people had read it. It's not my fault I'm not popular, but it seems it's your fault I'm not popular. I mean, like she has some. Not only does she have some social issues, she's not the most like she is kind of like mean and things like that. But I think at least like half of that is just because when you've been shut out by other people, that's your defense mechanism, right? You have to kind of project on other people.
Yeah, I see everyone being like, "Oh, she's such a shitty person." I'm just like, it's a coping mechanism. Like, this is how you gain yourself, your confidence is by just staying in your mind how much better you are than everyone else and being like, total bitches, sluts. I hope they die, and then I hope you're shit, and then you're reincarnated as shit. And this is what's going on in her head. But that's totally like it's a coping mechanism, and that's how I got through my days is by cursing everyone's existence.
Yeah. And but what you really wanted is like for a couple new friends or something. Like that's what you wanted, but like when you don't have that, you just you're right.
Oh yeah, no. At the same time, I was also quietly going, "Why aren't you my friends? You total bitches and sluts. Be my friend."
Not only have most people like at least experienced some level of Like, I mean, it's all spectrum of social anxiety, but like we've met people where this show can help you think about it again. If you met somebody who was like, oh, you just write them off, you're like, that person's antisocial. It's like, no, that person probably may have gone through a lot that you never know, and this is why they act this way now. And if you like take the step like that student in the student council tries to like reach out to her, you can have a huge effect, far more than you know, right?
Yes, that's actually something I kind of wanted to touch upon is for me, I still remember people who would say hi to me in the halls, like this one time, or just one person who started a conversation with me on the bus. Those made my life. I will never forget those people because it's like they acknowledged your existence, and that was like amazing for me. Like honestly, like I am nowhere near as bad as I am now, and now whenever I see people who are standing offish and whatnot, I try to make a point of including them, because a lot of the times, they just need someone to invite them in. They can't do that. They really physically cannot do that on their own. They need someone to invite them. Otherwise, they will always just stand in the corner and just wait. And that is a very, very important thing, and it makes such a huge difference. I mean, just someone smiling at you in the hallway. And it's I've kind of tried to live my life by the whole, don't be a dick philosophy. Since I've become a stronger person, it's, just be a good person. Just try to reach out to those people, because they can't do it themselves. They just can't.
Now, like, how did you go from somebody who was like suffering from this to ending up on somebody who's doing multiple podcast shows now and like talking with all kinds of people on podcasts and stuff?
Well, I grew up. I guess that helps a lot. I mean, I'm not 15. I'm 30 now. Just for me, it didn't really start changing until my mid-20s, to be honest. Like, I saw this show. I'm just like, oh, this is my high school life, and welcome to the NHK. That's my early 20s, which is another show that's similar in this vein. But I don't know. That's when I started going to conventions. That's when I started getting into nerd cultures, and really, actually, that's when I started making friends, was through these. Well, first of all, it was World of Warcraft. I was in a guild, so I was talking to people online, and that's the first time I was like actually conversing with people that I hadn't known, that are strangers to me initially, right? Like, the only people I would converse with are like my friends I had since public school and my family. So that helped. Then I started getting into conventions, and you go to these places where it's like everyone is the same way as you. You just become so happy to be in that crowd. It's like you're with your people. So that really helped.
The two things, like the internet, and when you get older, you can go out to these kind of things that open your world far beyond what a limited high school could be, right?
Yes.
Because there's only so many people in a high school. You might be the only person who might be interested in.
I'm from a time before. Yeah, well, like, I didn't even have the internet when I first started high school. Like, I'm from that time period. I don't know what it is like these days for someone with those issues, but having access to online communities. But I didn't have that back then, so I'm not sure what it's like now.
So what I wanted to ask, like, because you said you found like the situation of being like looking to talk to anybody, talk to your brother, was pretty similar without the creepy Japanese like references, like to incest or whatever, right? Yeah,
no, it's probably also the best depiction of a sibling relationship I've seen in anime. Like, it's not that they're not stereotypes. They're very much brother and sister, where they're they love each other, but at the same time they annoy the hell out of each other. She's got her own perversions, we'll call them, but aside from that, most of their interactions are very typical of two siblings close in age. Like me and my brother, like my brother's my best friend. Like, I'm super, super close, and that's kind of like what we were. It's just he was safe to talk to.
And I think the references she makes is probably because she watches so much anime. That's why she's kind of like referencing that. Like, I don't think that was herself.
Yeah, she talks about the brother complex or sister complexes, but it's because she's a insane otaku. So, I've been going through a lot of anime lately. I've just been on a streak, and like half of them include characters with sister or brother complexes. So I'm just like, where is this coming from? Really? So I'm sure, a typical otaku thinks that's a normal thing, and I'm just like, no, no.
It's probably getting to this point where it's self-fulfilling. Like, it probably doesn't even sell as much as they think it does, but since everybody does it, they just kind of throw it in for that, like, niche 2% market.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. I don't know. Add extra drama. I don't know.
I think that's what they do. Like, because people don't care there, like, they'll throw in, like, the weird stuff, and because the other people will just be like, whatever, but we'll still watch it, and then try to hook the 2% that might be into that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to bet that everyone who writes it in seriously does not have a sibling.
Yeah. There was lots of single childs there, right? So they probably, like, just make it up, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. But, like, to this day, though, you don't use a phone a lot, right?
Right. I still don't like using the phone.
Yeah. You just preferred, like, other
Well, yeah, I still have my
face-to-face,
issues, but yes. I mean, I'm better at handling my issues. I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be, but I still, I can get flustered very easily. If a customer yells at me, I'll likely start to cry without wanting to, but it'll just happen. I get anxiety. My throat closes up a lot. Again, in confrontational things, something will set it off, and then I'll have that going on for like a month. I'll like walk into work, and as soon as I go through the doors, I can feel my throat closing up on me, and I'm just like, what's going on? It's like, oh yeah, the other day someone yelled at me, and now every time I walk in the store for the next month, this is going to happen. I mean, anxiety is something you cannot control, no matter, you could be in a great mind space and perfectly happy, but if it's been set off, it's going to affect you in some way, and you have zero control over it.
So as a physical manifestation, not just
sucks.
mental, you feel it in your body.
Yeah.
That's what I found, like, the voice actress I thought did a really good job. I mean, you don't see this on paper when you read it, but just the way it was such a struggle just to say anything. You could feel like she really hit that note well.
Yeah, and I find that, like, with me, talking to people, I talk to myself a lot in my head, or when I'm talking on the podcast, I'm not that bad, but, like, when I'm trying to speak to someone, I start stuttering like crazy, and I can't get my thoughts coherent, and I don't know why it doesn't work properly, but I don't know, well, I guess I do stutter a lot on here, too. Back when I was younger, I didn't talk to anyone. Anyways, I love the show.
Yeah.
It's fun looking back, watching it, and because I can laugh at myself now, and I can laugh along with the show and be like, yeah, I was pretty bad. That probably was pretty funny. Where she makes her own little castle for eating lunch. That's something I actually did too. I pulled my desk to the side and surrounded myself with other empty desks and tucked myself in and had my own little corner. I think that's when the teacher called home and asked if someone died.
Well, just the struggle to find somewhere to eat for lunch, which you might find surprising, but it seems to be there. When I saw that,
I've experienced that.
I thought about when I was in elementary or middle school, and I had a group of 3 or 4 friends, and often we would play Magic: The Gathering, the card game. So we'd play that at lunch. We had this corner we'd play, and there was always 1 or 2 loner kids that would come and just sit there with us and eat lunch, and we'd acknowledge them and they'd be with us, but they didn't play Magic or they didn't really get it or didn't care, but they would just eat with us. And now I realize they just wanted to eat with somebody, and because we didn't we weren't shunning them and we were fine they're there, they'd eat there. But if they didn't eat with us, what would they do, right? They would just go and look for somewhere to eat. So it's I'm glad at least I wasn't bad there. I was at least
I sat alone at lunch.
Yeah. They just wanted the company when you look back at it, but I didn't understand then, right? Why they were eating there.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the show itself, how do you do? It has a pretty unorthodox, both opening intro, which I thought it's pretty badass. It's the animation, but also the music is unexpected, right?
Yeah, no, I love the opening and ending to this. I've downloaded the music for both of them, and I listened to it. The opening is heavy, and it's kind of got her anger and frustration, and how she wants to be popular, and it really symbolizes her frustration and wanting to overcome it. And then the ending theme is a lot sadder, and it's just it's more what she really is. Anyways, yeah, I like them both.
We'll be putting them in this episode.
Just listening to the songs makes me feel nostalgic.
I'll have to send you a link. I found somebody who did it on piano. The opening one's pretty good. I'll put that in the episode as well. Like piano. And just like the show gives you that perspective, because what's interesting is there's not that many characters in the show, which matches like what you'd expect because you doesn't know a lot of people. But there's like that group of 4 students in our class, 2 guys, 2 girls that keep appearing. They're always going to karaoke and stuff. When you see them, you kind of think, well, in the average show, they would be the ones that you focus on, and now you're seeing it from another perspective. You're seeing the person usually has their face blank in the background. Is that perspective seeing it there?
That's another thing is that they keep making parodies, or they reference other animes, and because like in the very first episode, there's when she's clicking, looking at articles online. It's and she's doing it all dramatically, and it's a direct parody of Death Note, of a scene where Light is writing down names. If you've seen Death Note and you watch this show, you'll recognize it right away. They parody the SOS Brigade, Haruhi Suzumiya. There's another point where she's like, maybe I'm invisible. Like I don't know if you've seen that one, but there's a girl in their class that's pretending that they pretend is invisible, and and there's an Attack on Titan when she kills a cockroach, and she's like the Titan killing the cockroach.
Oh really? That's what it was. I knew it was referring to something.
Yeah, we rewatched that scene. That's yeah. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other ones that I didn't catch on to, but there's a lot of little, parodies of other animes, because she is an otaku, and so she her attempts at making herself popular are, going by the anime tropes. And she's like, oh, well, maybe if I'm quiet and mysterious, I'll be like the quiet and mysterious character. And then she just does is like, this is not turning out any different from my normal day. It's like that's the kind of things I went through too. I'm just like, how am I gonna do this?
Or you'd worry about like something coming up. You're like, tomorrow I have to do some sort of trip or something like that.
Well, I went through so many phases in high school too, trying just to figure out, well, everyone does, when you're growing up, just trying to find yourself. I definitely went through a lot, tried a lot of different things.
Okay, I'm going to just read a paragraph or 2 from a review that I feel like it's way longer, but I'm just going to review I thought it was relevant, by Veronin. Does she bring some of the problems upon herself? Maybe. Does she try too hard to be something she's not? Definitely. But who can blame her? The only time she's had a remotely resembling a normal life is when she was a toddler, because you see a bit of that in the backstage, and you can see she's happy at that point. Of course she's angry. She's fed up with her lifestyle. And one other thing he was writing about, he said it's easy to relate to her situation if you ever dealt with social anxiety. Sure, her feelings are blatant, exaggerated at times, but the way the people act around her is very much real. Teenagers love to gossip. They love to ignore and exclude anybody who isn't part of their group. WataMote hits this fact home, reminding us just how idealized the high school life is in anime. This is the opposite of escapism.
Mm-hmm. I've rambled a lot. How did you like the show?
That's good. As I said, for me, it was mainly like see it from the other perspective, or like, yeah, I've been in that situation. It's exaggerated, but I've been there. But like, one thing I found interesting was what I found similar was kind of similar to Bigare HK in the sense that both the female protagonists are just like interested in sexuality and that sort of thing, and they're not like usually it's just the guys that are portrayed that way, but so I know like a teenager is also interested, guy or girl, or curious about sex without like it's just normal for them to be.
Yeah, I find that in high school, the high school girls in these shows tend to be idolized and not very realistic portrayals of teenage girls. Of course, it could be a cultural difference too, but I don't know.
Also, I guess we could just talk about a couple funny scenes in the like episodes. I'm trying to remember. Like the one I wrote down was that I found hilarious. Is when she won the erotic DVD and the massager, and she's watching like the DVD with the guys, and then like falls asleep with them. Like the massager just massaging her back, and her dad comes home to give her cake, opens the door, and like sees it. But even though like he sees that, he just like puts her like gently into bed and like turns off everything and just leaves her.
Pretends he didn't see anything.
Wait, so
I mean the show really is funny, and there are so many points where you're just like cringing, but at the same time laughing out loud and at her misfortune. I mean, it's a dark comedy, but it is funny. Some of the things that she brings upon herself.
It's a fast watch. Right?
Yeah, it's 12 episodes, and you'll go through them so quickly too. I mean, my only complaint is that there isn't really much growth in her character. Like, she's pretty much back where she started by the end of it.
Have you read the manga?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's not much longer. Like,
yeah,
it's
I
only
just
a couple, maybe
to the end of
2
it.
volumes more.
She's in second year, right? So like, if like you do expect, that's the thing. You expect a bit more development. There's barely any there, but she's in second year, so there's still time if the artist wants to go there. If they want to, it was usually there's an arc through high school, right?
Yeah, no, it's still going. It's a fairly new manga. It's she's on like it started with her in the first year, and right now she's only partway through her second year.
We don't expect, like, again, another show like this would be like she suddenly jumps to the top or some guy comes in and pulls her out of it. Like, we don't expect that because that's not believable. You just want some development over time. It should be more realistic, right?
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with it, to be honest. I don't know if they plan to keep her as crippling as she is, or if they're going to have her actually come out of her shell more and talk to people. Right now, like in the manga, she's got a rivalry going on with a middle school friend, or a friend of a friend that she used to, So there's that, but at the same time, she's still not getting any better. Arguably, she's becoming a worse person.
Yeah. I think the mangaka, he or she is going to milk this as long as possible in this stage because they're getting a lot. But if it goes on, we'll eventually develop the manga to something. I don't know if they're going to make any more anime because it'll probably be too late for it. But I think that if the manga gets to its proper end, she'll get some development.
Yeah, well, right now the anime is not selling well. I don't know if that'll change once it hits, overseas markets, but the manga's doing well, but the anime didn't. So I don't know.
It's one of those that is like, well, I mean, like, even not selling well in Japan, it seems to be viewed a lot here. I don't know how many sales will come out of that, but it's hitting the Western market.
Like that could be like Bigata HK that wasn't very well received there, but did a lot. I think it did better here because it's more how we view girls rather than how Japan views girls.
Yeah, this is too much for them to handle. Okay, well, another in relation to that, the girl rivalry she's got right now, that girl is actually interested in her brother, right?
Yes, the girl who she's the Tomoko.
Tomoko is the main protagonist, and then the glasses girl, whatever that is.
Yes, it's her frenemy.
Katomi, I think. Yeah, Katomi.
I think frenemy is the correct term.
So if you read the manga, there's a certain scene where it shows like when that girl first came over, like when they were younger.
Yeah.
And she was interested in her brother, and she's like, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day," and then she's like, "I want to give him chocolate or something," but she's like stuttering, and then like I don't know how this works in Japan, but Tomoko understands it as cock instead of chocolate. And so she's like, well, we might as well get it over here. And she like tells her brother, come over. It's like, hey, this girl, this Katami, whatever, wants to see your cock. And then he's like, die. And he's like, hey, don't be mean to it, guys. He's like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, you're the one who said something weird.
Yeah, but it's like ruining her chances. And then like later on, she's like, oh, you're that girl who wanted to see my brother's cock.
Yeah, and he's in the background being like, what the hell's going on?
It's like you feel like she's being a bit of a bitch, but it's half like it's not intending to be. She just didn't understand.
No, she's actually trying to protect them.
Yeah.
I mean, if she actually thought that if she actually misheard her, then yeah, she's like trying to protect her brother's honor, but instead she's just like horribly misinterpreting everything.
Yeah. She also, I mean, like, that's another thing. Like Bigari HK though, I think she starts looking at stuff on her like phone or internet, just like Yamada did. So there's some overlap. I mean, like no matter what level of like popularity or like connections they have, like there's people have their insecurities inside. They both characters had insecurity, like her obviously, but Yamada as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see anything else I got written here. Yeah, I just watching this bit more. Then I understood like why. Like remember at Ice and Fire Con, you're like you got invited to the table. It was such a big thing. It's just showing like a little bit of kindness or help can go a long way when you don't know.
Yeah, I was having a WataMote moment there, where there was nowhere for me to sit, and I'm just like, oh well, I guess I'll go sit on the patio by myself and eat. And no, then I got invited to sit at the table, which made my night, made my weekend actually.
Well, by the end of the weekend, it was so good, right? You met people.
By that time I had spoken to everyone, but this was the first night and barely knew anybody.
Cool. I think that's that for the main show. I guess we'll go to after show. I guess we'll say like.
Yeah, feel a little awkward.
Yeah. Well, there's not many characters, so.
It's just me talking about my past.
I think
how
this is a good
pathetic I used to
episode.
be.
I mean, people, you're opening up, but for a good purpose, right? Hopefully, connect to some people out there. So yeah, check us out on bastardsofkingsgrave.wordpress.com or bok.podcastadvicefire.com. Thanks for joining us today for our regular anime reviews at BOK. And if you listen to this before October 15th, feel free to nominate us for the podcast awards at podcastawards.com under cultural/arts. See you next time. Okay, so we're gonna do after show for this show, which is gonna be kind of odd. It's fine. We're almost done, so just find the
Just like they're all not grade 9. I can't do.
Oh, when you were in grade 9. When you were in grade 9. This is your grade 9 perspective or high school perspective. Hey,
He's gonna come back to haunt me in some legal court case.
Hey, we got a HK, right? Like
Did we?
Yeah, well, we
aren't they old? No, they're not actually.
No, we did most happy anime people are high school age. Like there's a youth bias in anime.
Yeah,
like when you get to see like people who are 40 years old, like never. Like it's just like it's so you either.
Well, that's because most anime characters don't look their age. These ones actually look like they're young.
That's true. But we're going to go from the perspective of high school because that's what we're talking about, right? Talking about that period. Okay. So this is like you in high school. All right, let's see what we got here. So what about her brother?
I liked her brother. I'd marry him.
He seems pretty popular, and he's like he still cares about his sister. It's hard for him to show it.
And he's actually nice. Like deep down, he is. Like even though he gives her a hard time,
Because there are a couple of scenes where you see that he helps her. All right,
yeah.
So here's a list. I sent you a list of characters. I think that's a list of characters. Okay.
It's like 3.
Yeah, no. Oh, what about Tomoko herself?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to kill her. I feel bad.
Situation. Like you think like two characters who are struggling or like have social anxiety might be able to help each other, but like if they both have problems, it could just be worse, right? Like it could be even harder to connect to.
Yeah. I'll salt wife her and maybe not visit so often. I'll bring over some concealer for her eyes.
Yeah, those eyes would bug me. It's like it's
help
like
her out there.
Bags under her eyes. She's got perma bags under her eyes. Like what the hell? But I think like her brother. Even her brother says she's normal looking. She's not like quote ugly or something.
Yeah.
She's just a normal person, but because she doesn't take care of herself, or she's.
That's another thing I liked about the show is that she's not like an outcast because of some sort of thing. It's just she's an outcast because she's an outcast. Like it's I kind of hate those things. Like it's the fat kid getting beat up or it's the smart kid getting picked on. It's like sometimes it's just the typical person that's just there.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky with her. It's not a married material, anyways. Well, you don't know how she turns out 20 years later, right? But it's
yeah, no, she could grow out of it.
Well, you have to
Most people do.
you have to try to imagine it from high school perspective, right? But the problem is that breakup could be even worse if there's a breakup, right? Well, it's hard to think that. But
She'd be the girl with the knife.
yeah,
I'd be worried about her mental stability.
yeah. You have to make it
The
that she's
school
the one
days
that
ending.
dumps. She's got to be the one that does the dumping.
Yes, there you go. That's how you'll say it.
Yeah. So if that's within the equation, then the one nighter or something like that. But that's got to be your escape route. Okay.
Okay.
No, we didn't even talk about. We're gonna bring this up. We didn't. Like, she actually does have friends. A friend from her previous lower school, Yu Chan, who's now actually popular at another high school, but they're still connected with each other. Which I thought was realistic. That even when she had a huge problem, she still connected with somebody. It just wasn't even there within her school.
Yeah. Like I went to a different high school than everyone that in my middle school, so that's like why I was alone. And I still had my public school friends, but again, they were in a different school, so and I had no problems talking with them. But it was just I don't know. But yeah, you Chan, I'll salt wife her. She was a little
Yeah.
dumb to marry, but she had a sweet countenance.
Yeah. She has a good heart. So yeah, she was a little bit slow, so it's not really married
Yep.
material, but yeah, salt wife.
Hmm.
Who's Key? Okay, we're not even going there. Like even from a high school perspective, that's just too young. Moving on. Key is her cousin, like her younger cousin. So even if you're in high school, it should be too young.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
lolly, please.
Yeah. Let's see. But that was also an interesting relationship that she had. So she felt that she always had to lie about having a
Yeah.
boyfriend to impress her cousins or things like that.
And then her cousin realizes what's going on, and then she just feels sad for her.
Yeah.
It's so. Aww.
That card game that they play is definitely
Oh,
like
this
Magic the
show.
Gathering, right? It's like a reference to that, right? Because it's got fireballs and stuff.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. She ends up cheating to try to win that card game.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and it's like she has no problem talking with people younger than her. That's another thing. It's her own age group that she has issues with. But when she feels like she's in a position of authority, then those issues tend to go away. Like whenever she's dealing with younger kids, and I feel like that's very true.
Okay, what about the student that helps her out? Like the student council, Imai.
Oh,
Yeah.
she seems like a wonderful person. I will marry her.
Yeah, Mary. She's making that connection. Although, there's people that ship her.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
she's like, I can't take my eyes off her.
Tomiko's sexuality has kind of got a question mark on it, anyways.
Oh, if you read the manga, she's at least experimenting or bisexual, open to that. She's definitely open to that, right? From the manga, you can see.
She's always going for her best friend's boobs or butt or whatever. Yeah. She takes her into a haunted house specifically so she can hug her.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny though, it's because this older student is reaching out to her, helping her, but if there's an attraction there as well, it'd be hilarious. I thought if done properly, anyways, if she had a bit of a crush.
Yeah, no, I think it's not gonna be played out seriously. I think it's just gonna be there as a side thing.
That's just the fan fiction route, but
Yeah.
I don't even recognize them because the character it's really a small cast that is developed pretty well rather than a big cast. It's just background. You just don't know enough about them. You look at it, it's just no. Well, what about the trio that the karaoke group?
They don't have any sort of discernible character. You could trade each of them for each other and not know which one's which. So yeah, I can't make a judgment on that.
Well, I think because the show intentionally skews your perspective toward them because you're seeing it from her perspective, so it's intentionally skewed against them. They may not be problematic themselves, but they do interact with her at times, but kind of weirdly. Is that it for characters? I'm trying to look at the list of characters here.
I think it is.
Basically,
in the manga, there's the blonde girl with the pigtails.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of bubbly.
They're getting a connection there, but they barely have any interaction.
Yeah.
So far. And she ends up screwing her over, but the blonde girl screws Tomoki over, but not intentionally. She just messes up, I think. Or do you think that was intentional?
Yeah, no, she's just a bubbly personality that flutters around to every social group and talks to everybody.
You know what was kind of funny, but also heartbreaking at the same time is when she had her portrait done by that fat kid, and then she thinks she was drawn beautifully, but the guy only draws things one way.
Yeah.
But it's
was
not that she's
sad.
ugly. Like she's normal. She's average looking, right? She's not ugly or that being her thing. Just doesn't have connections with people, and it kind of spiraled. Like it's like if things had gone better earlier on at that high school, then it might not have gone that way.
Yeah.
Well, this is like the worst application of this game ever. It's just like there's nothing to be said.
There's no characters.
Yeah, it gets by a lot with very few characters. And I suppose they'll flesh out more over time if it goes that way. But it doesn't need them, right? It just like it just focus on there. Okay, so
No,
we're done. We're done
it's
the
about
episode.
her and. Yep, guess so.
Do you have any final comments then before we wrap this up? Or?
I apologize for rambling. It's a topic I tend to get passionate about.
It's a good short episode, 40 minutes here. It's perfect. It'll jump up to be like half an hour after edits. Just a nice short episode. Get people in the show. I'm still working my way through the Attack on Titan manga, so it'll be a while before I can do that. Although I've noticed most of the manga has already been covered by anime.
Though.
Like a lot of it's already like I'm probably like 2/3 through it and it's still anime stuff. So with like some
they've only maybe half a season right now, so it's going to be a while before we get a second season because they gotta wait for the material to come.
I hope he I'd say guy actually keeps producing it quickly though. I'm sure he has like it planned out somewhat, but like just the mechanics of getting stuff done. Hopefully he's got the money now to have like extra artists to help draw things.
Yeah, well the thing is there's all these other extra projects being started too, like prequels and
what
stuff. There's a prequel starting offshoot about taking place I think 70 years ago.
Really?
Explaining how
He's
the 3D
now.
maneuver gear was created. Oh yeah, they've got one chapter out already.
Oh, screw that. Move forward and do the main story.
Yeah, and there's going to be a backstory about Levi, and I think how he joined the Corps. I don't know when exactly that's going to be. So yeah, it's so big that they're trying to like pull every last cent they can out of this franchise.
Well, even the WataMote.
But I mean, like he's on a deadline, so it's not like.
Oh, he's on deadline.
Like he can't take a pause to work on something else. Well, yeah, they have to do a chapter every month. He does.
Okay, it's not like George then.
Like because they get. No, he can't just take like a 3-year break. He's got a chapter coming out every month.
I mean, but it's always easy to do a filler chapter if you want to, right? I'm pretty sure it's he. Carly told us it was a guy. You can do a filler chapter, just make something up, and then like they.
Oh yeah, WataMote.
Maybe does cleaning for a chapter, like cleans the house for a chapter, like that's. Levi, but
I don't know enough about how it gets all put together.
Hopefully they keep producing.
But I know like it's 1 a month then.
Because even WataMote has a spin-off like where they have like a manga based on the Yu character, I think, from her perspective, or at least the high school stories.
Really?
Yeah, like this.
Wow.
Oh, you must have not seen that. Like that one for sure. Like
No, I didn't.
Confirms that that Tomoko is like bisexual. Let's see if I can find that. Like that'll be the last thing we'll look here.
Oh.
It's only a couple like chapters that's out.
Okay, so I'm seeing information.
It's showing like their middle school life, but I think it's from the perspective of that girl. But it seems to be basically just showing their middle school life. There's going to be an OVA for WataMote, but next year, late 2014. I have a lot of shows where I've watched it, and now I got to like forget about it for a year or two and come back to it because it's such a slow pace to get any development. Right? You get to the end.
Yeah, that's why I started started to read the mangas as soon as I finished the shows. And then I get to the end of that, I'm like, oh crap, now I got nothing. Because even if the anime starts up again, I'll have seen it all.
There's a lot of like you're saying it's not selling well, but I think in terms of like at least online following, there's a lot of artists working out there on even the main character. Lots of deviant art, lots of different.
Yeah, I mean the show only just finished, so maybe it'll pick up a bit.
Let's see. Yeah, this is the spin-off. Here we go, spin-off. The spin-off 4-panel manga featuring their life in middle school. So yeah, you're right. It's a super long name. I started like WataMote. It's just the bastardized like short. For Fitz be okay. The bastardized short name. A super long thing. So you're doing Thanksgiving on Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, me too. I'm gonna make turkey. Even WataMote has a spin-off. Like the people are trying to spin off stuff, market stuff. Anyways, that's all we got. It looks like there's no APOF episode today. I think that's fully canceled because it's too hard to get everybody together now and gotta sleep.
Yeah. I'm getting sleepy, to be honest.
Okay, I'll let you go off sleep. We'll do future episodes on the Attack on Titan manga. It's probably the next thing we'll do. So yeah, see ya.
All right.
Bye. I can't believe it's so bad today.
Hello?
Hey.
I can't tell yet.
I don't know why it's so slow today. Okay.
Yeah, it just seems to be choppy. I don't know.
The only problem is we might talk over each other, which I can probably fix in the edit. Uh-oh. Okay, it's connected.
Oh well, I guess at least it's not a proper episode.
Yeah, I know. If it was the four of us, then maybe it worked
issues.
out that it didn't work out. But hey, we're still gonna blame Mimi for that one.
Yeah.
Blame Mimi's Chinese teacher. I'll be tweet. Blame Mimi's Chinese teacher for no episode.
Yep.
Every second it goes
exactly.
red on here. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do it. We'll make do. We good to go? It's episode 22. Okay, you good to go?
Yep.
Okay, here goes. Recorder open. Yup.